Hey, everybody, your saltwater guide. Happy New Year. Thank you all for joining us today. It's another great show. It's January 1st, 2025. We made it, everybody. We're here. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a safe night last night and everybody's having a great morning this morning. Thank you all very, very much for following us. And thank you for subscribing. Thanks for all the likes and the shares and everything you've all done for Kelly Girl and I and Justin and Pablo and Al and Sonny over this last year. 2024 was an incredible year, gang. And I just want to thank you all very, very much from the bottom of my heart, and Kelly Girl's heart, and the rest of the Your Saltwater Guide crew. Thank you all very much and happy New Year. This is going to be an incredible 2025. There's so much great things coming down the pipe. And like Roy Rose and I talked about yesterday, this is going to be the year of the anchovy. It's starting to look like it's starting to shape up. The live squid and the anchovy. So today we're going to talk about anchovies. We're going to talk about it, get deep into it. All the do's and don'ts of fishing with anchovies and what you should and should not do. And hopefully you guys enjoy this part of the show. It's because we're in an anchovy cycle, gang. It was inevitable. It was going to happen eventually, and it is happening now. If you look around at most of the bait companies' reports, they're all reporting anchovies in the barges. And You've seen my videos on the squid. The squid's about as thick as it can possibly be anywhere. I don't know if any of you had a chance today to watch the Bait Tank podcast, guys. And Matt Florentino were out at San Clemente Island this morning doing some live video, and they were fishing calico bass on the plastics up on the west end of the island, and they were having an absolute ball. So tomorrow's game plan is going to revolve around this anchovy. Now that this swell is going away, very, very exciting. I think it's going to be very, very, very good fishing this winter time for calico bass, sand bass, and who knows, you might get a sprinkling of yellowtail and a sea bass or two with all this squid around. But I woke up this morning and I am super excited. Something that's been missing from Facebook, Your Saltwater Guide, is the ability to leave stars. And we have so many people that left stars and were absolutely devastated when they took the ability to leave the stars away from us. Well, it's back. You can leave stars again, gang. And I got that. Shows you right where it shows up. It's right there below your comment button. When you're watching this video and you're leaving comments, right below there, you see in the blue highlight, the stars there. This has been reactivated. So yay, Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. And if you watch my Facebook page, it looks like they've released all of the suppression. That squid video that I posted the day after Christmas. No, 2 days after Christmas, excuse me, he's already at 400,000 views on Facebook. The one we did on Christmas Eve has just a little over 1 million views on Facebook. So I am pretty excited. Everything seems to be 2025 is going to be an awesome year, gang. If you have an opportunity to leave us some stars, now you can again, which is a huge plus because we've not had the ability to do that for a very long time. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Megaphone. These live podcasts go out every single day except for Sundays. Saturday morning is the fish report day where we talk about what we caught all week. And I think this weekend's going to be pretty neat. We got anchovies, we got squid, we got some decent weather. And that swell is going to, today and tomorrow will be the last 2 days of that swell, and then everything's going to calm back down. I was talking to those guys at Bait Tank Podcast this morning while they were fishing live, and they were saying that water looks really nice at San Clemente Island. And I think it's going to calm down at Catalina real quick. Captain Al Clowers has already had some nice fishing down at the Coronados. that area down there didn't get affected too bad by the swell. I think we're in store for just one heck of a wintertime fishery here in Southern California. And a lot of that has to do with this anchovy that's here right now. So I am super excited to talk about it. If anybody has any questions, you can throw them up on the side of the page there. I can read your questions about anchovy fishing, and I'll do my very best to answer them to the best of my ability. Any of you that are watching this, and you can hit the share button and the like button on whatever platform you're watching me on, that all helps the algorithm. It all helps out tremendously. We put a phenomenal amount of effort into this entertainment channel, Your Saltwater Guide, as far as hitting you guys with brand new videos every day. You get 2 or 3 brand new, no, you get 3 brand new videos. You get a brand new picture. Some of the videos you might think you've already seen, but they're a little bit longer. There's a little more explanation in them. There's things that you haven't seen yet. And any of you that have already seen them, you should feel really honored. When I go to see the Rolling Stones, and I've been seeing the Rolling Stones since 1977, the Miss You tour was the first time I saw them at the Anaheim Stadium. And every time I see them, I want them to play Satisfaction. I love that song, and I want them to hear Sympathy for the Devil. I've been hearing those songs for years. So when people say, oh, I've already seen this video, Dave, how cool is that? You've been watching me so long that you got to see the video more than once? That's pretty cool. The stars, that is. Thank you. Yeah, on your phone. If you look where the comments are, right underneath the well, if you haven't invested any money in the stars won't be there. You have to buy the stars. I'm sorry. In order to send them. So if you buy the stars, then you'll see it. It's going to come up on your screen. It's going to look just like this. And you'll have that star icon, and then that'll allow you to send stars. And that's probably why you're not seeing them marked. You don't have any stars in your bank, in your wallet. So you need to get some stars and send them to Captain Dave so I can feed the monkey. Check it out. Happy New Year, Casey Carter. You're not out there killing marlin today and throwing them back? Huh. That's weird. Come on, Casey. You got to be out there, man. So check out, that's how you get the stars. But gang, we're talking anchovies today. Most of the bait barges right now, I'm looking at the reports. Most of them are reporting anchovies. Very, very few sardines. That is phenomenal for us. And also thank you, Okuma. Okuma has taken care of me for a very long time. I was pro staff for a long time. Then I've been sponsored by Okuma for the last 3 years. And I just want to say thank you very, very much, Okuma. You allow this show to go smooth. Unlike other shows or other podcasts, we don't have to run a commercial. Yeah, well, they are. Kelly just sent them to me right before we went live on the show. So this was coming right off of her phone. So I don't know. If you don't have stars in your, if you don't have stars in your wallet, you can't give them. But if you have stars in your wallet, you can give them. At least Kelly and I did it this morning, and it worked just fine. But maybe it only worked for an hour. But it just worked right before I went on here. If you look, she said 175 stars right before I went live. So maybe it's only working on Kelly's phone, but that wouldn't make any sense. But if you don't have stars in your wallet, then you can't send stars. You're absolutely right. I think that might be the problem. You got to have stars to send stars. So check that out and see. Maybe you can look at that, Elliot, and see. I know you're busy today, and I'm sorry. But when we went live, Kelly sent me 175 stars. They're in the account. So that's why I thought it was working for everybody. But if it's not, it's not. I don't know. Let me know. Some of you guys that have sent me stars in the past, you might have stars in your wallet. Check it out and see if you can send them to me. I'd love to find out if it's working or not, or if it's only working for Kelly girl. That'd be pretty crazy. But back to what we were talking about, the anchovies. So Anchovies are a phenomenal bait when you pull up to the bait barge. Why? Because like Roy was saying yesterday, if you have just sardines in your bait tank, maybe you get 200 of them in there. If you have anchovies, you probably get 1,000 of them in there. So now you can chum. When you throw handfuls of anchovies in the water on the edge of a rock or the edge of a hard bottom or on the edge of the kelp, all of a sudden, lo and behold, fish start cartwheeling out of the water. Then you can go to throwing your lures, your surface iron, or fly line a live bait. And we'll show you something that Okuma is on the front edge of the spinning reel. It's not like your grandfather's spinning reel. So if you go and you look at all the spinning reels Okuma has to offer, and we'll show you a really good one today. The key with the anchovies, and the number one reason why people don't like them, is because they don't know how to cast an anchovy, because it doesn't weigh a couple ounces, 4 or 5 ounces like a sardine. They're very, very light, and they're very fragile too if you don't know how to handle them. So we're going to go through that today. We're going to talk about that. But I would suggest those of you that don't have any spinning reels on your boat, and you've been winging sardines for the last 20 years, and all your rods you can't fly line an anchovy on, go get yourself a spinning reel. You don't want to miss out on what's going to happen this year. And then also you want to take the time out of your busy day to practice casting the anchovy on your conventional reel. It can be done. It can be done, and it can be done very, very well, very, very effective. A little bit longer rod, a little bit softer tip, a little smaller reel, a little lighter line. All those things come into effect when you're fishing with the spinning reel. But when you're with the conventional reel, it's really tough to bring down everything and go light and go lighter line and smaller line and all those things that you need to be successful when you go out there. And the number one thing, and we've talked about this so many times on the podcast, is your ability to cast. Your ability to cast is going to separate you from the fish. If you can't cast an anchovy, you're probably not going to catch too much this year unless you have some spinning rods on the boat. So what I would suggest is going down to your dock or going to your local baseball field or football field or something and stand there and practice casting, lightweight. I wouldn't even use lead. I would just be using very lightweight. Try that, see if that works. And practice. I want to show you this spinning reel that John Bretza has that's going to help. I would definitely suggest getting one of these. If you didn't get one for Christmas, go out and get yourself a Christmas present, because you're definitely going to want to be able to cast an anchovy this year. Check out this reel, and then we'll go right back. If you got any questions about anchovy fishing, throw them up on the screen. I'll answer everybody's questions. Today it's New Year's. We're doing something new. We're answering your questions. No, I'm just kidding. I always answer your questions. But this spinning reel.
Hey guys, this is John Bretz with Okuma Fishing Tackle. What I have here is one of the most exciting introductions of the year, the new X series spinning reel, our flagship spinning reel. And what's amazing about this is Okuma was able to build a reel that's the best of both worlds. You got a tournament bass reel as well as an inshore spinning reel. So both freshwater and saltwater applications, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 sizing, starting at 7 ounces. Super lightweight, but what's nice about it is it's very rigid. So you want to use it for inshore. It's a lightweight and rigid aluminum body and aluminum side plates. To keep it lightweight, we have our cyclonic flow rotor, which is injected out of C40X. So again, very lightweight, very corrosion resistant. As everybody knows, you want a good drag system. This is equipped with our carbonite drag system. The 2,500 and 3,000 output 22 pounds of max drag. When you get to the 4,000, it outputs 24 pounds of max drag. These are 6.2 to 1 gear ratios, so when you turn that handle, you're picking up a lot of line with every turn. This is accomplished by a machined aluminum, CNC cut, AL70 aluminum drive gear. That aluminum drive gear is also anodized, so again, perfect for both fresh and saltwater applications. One of the great features that we have in this is what we call hydroblock body. So these are a set of water seals that prevent water intrusion. So that's going to be a good complement for both freshwater and saltwater applications. The other great thing is you have the machined aluminum handle that can be put on the left or right hand. It threads directly into the drive gear. It's a really thin profile, so lightweight but super strong. The advantage of this for both fresh and saltwater anglers is that when you pull back, there's no back play at all. One is that helps from the one-way roller bearing, but also the screw-in design helps eliminate any of that back play tolerance. Another amazing part of this reel for you inshore anglers is that you'll notice on the bottom there's no on-off selector for the anti-reverse. Why did we do that? That's another source for water to intrude into the reel. So we left that out. The majority of freshwater anglers aren't back and reeling these days, so this is a great addition to this reel that's going to make it really durable for both freshwater and saltwater applications. And the other thing that's really nice is it's a one-piece seamless bail, so there's no area for braided line to hang up in those small little groove connections. This is one-piece connection all the way around. This is an 11 bearing drive reel, so you can expect super smooth performance, super durable, long life performance out of this reel. It starts at a $219 retail for the 2500 size. If you want to find out more details on the new X Series spinning reel, check it out at okumafishingusa.com.
Woohoo! All right, gang. So we're talking anchovies today, Matt. We're talking how to fish anchovies. We got a great question from Dean. What's the difference between the anchovy and the sardine? The way that they swim, the way that they move, the way that they present themselves. Well, first of all, with the anchovy, and I have a whole series over on my website of how to hook an anchovy, how to cradle it in your hand, how to be gentle enough. But a lot of the times, if you have a sinker on your line, you're always going to nose hook the anchovy. And if you look at an anchovy, right on the tip of his nose, he has a little clear spot on the tip of his nose, where the sardines' clear spot is right in front of their eyes. Where the anchovy, it's right on their nose. You'll see the white spot. You go right through that, it's cartilage. That's how you're going to fish them with the sinker. But what you're going to do, what you can't do with the sardine, you can't gill hook a sardine. If you do, and if you did, congratulations. But you probably didn't get many bites because it kills them instantly when you gill hook them. But when you gill hook or what we call collar hook an anchovy, there's a bone that runs right along their gill plate. If they lay the gill plate down and you feel the anchovy, he's got a bone that runs right along that gill plate, right where the gill plate ends. And you're going to go barely into that. And then he's got two pec fins. If you come out right before the pec fin and right where that little bone is, that's going to give you resistance when you go back to cast, and you can actually place the anchovy where you want to go. Where if you nose hook them and you're fly lining, there's no resistance when you're going to cast. So that's why we use the gill hook. Plus, when the anchovy hits the water and you gill hook him, he's going to hit the water and he's going to take off like a bat out of heck. The anchovy is a very fragile bait compared to the sardine. You're going to have to spend a couple extra seconds at the bait tank looking inside of it or looking in your trough if you have hand wells, or if you just pull them up with that bait scoop, leave them in the water while they're in the bait scoop so you can lay your hand in there and come up underneath the anchovies that are lime green. The green's almost the same color as the green on a 7-Up can. If you can find the anchovy that is that color and you hook them proper, that's going to be a fish every single time you throw it in the water. It's just that much different than having a blue one with a red nose and a bunch of scales missing on them. The lime green anchovy is the key. You'll hear this a lot this year. Those of you that fish on the sport boats, a lot of the deckhands have never used anchovies to the full effect of what it looks like it's going to be like this year. So you're going to hear a lot of people saying, change your bait. It's really crucial now. They don't have the life expectancy on the end of your line like a sardine. Also, they're going to get a sardines going to get a bunch of little nibbles on them, where anchovy, it's going to be a bite. They're going to take the whole anchovy into their mouth every single time. They're going to inhale it, for lack of a better word. That's the difference. Plus, if you pull up to the edge of the kelp, let's say Catalina, Salta Verde, you're fishing the kelp out there in 62 feet of water on the upper edge, downhill current. You pull up there and you throw a handful of 8-inch sardines in the water. Maybe there'll be a boil, probably not. And all the fish are going to chase those giant sardines and swim away from the boat. You take 3 or 4 anchovies and throw them up current between the kelp and the beach, up current, and they flow back behind the boat. You're going to see bass, barracuda, bonita, yellowtail, white sea bass cartwheeling out of the water. They absolutely go bananas when you throw anchovies in the water. That's probably the #1 difference between chumming with a 8-inch sardine or chumming with a 3-inch anchovy, is the way that the fish react. That video that I just showed you with that spinning reel, though, that's going to be crucial this year, is having reels on the boat that you can cast light bait with. Anchovies, and Jason Cutter. If you're somebody, or if you go out fishing with Darren or somebody else and you get some anchovies in their bait tank, take them home and salt them. Salt them down. Get some salt. Salt them down. It makes them tougher. It makes them more leathery, hold the hook better. They're gold in the surf for halibut and stuff like that. Bill Barney is a little under the weather today. That's why he's not with us today. That's why we're not talking surf fishing. If anybody wanted to know, Bill's fine. He's just a little under the weather. So he's going to be back probably with us next Wednesday, more than likely. He said he's going to do his very best to put together the game plan for tomorrow. But like I said, he's under the weather. So if the game plan doesn't come out, gang, you got to understand, every once in a while, a human being gets sick. And this year, we're going to get sick instead of having that C word. People are actually going to catch the flu and stuff this year. It's going to be amazing, back like it was in the old days. But enough of that. Facebook just started taking good care of me again, so we don't want to blow that up. But I'm telling you, gang, you got to start to bring everything down. Where you guys have been fishing with 30 and 40-pound line, it's going to be a lot of 15 and 20-pound line now. Light braided line, like 40-pound, would be perfect to fill a couple reels up with 40-pound braid, and then use the GT4 fluorocarbon, the 15-pound or the 20-pound, and a number 4 or a number 2 hook. All this stuff's going to matter, and you're going to have to start to bring it down so you can use the bait. That is the very best bait by far, just for the ability to chum. The chumming is one of my favorite things to do, is pull up to the edge of the kelp with a trickle of downhill current, take a dipper with the Promar bait net, take a little dipper out of there and throw that anchovy on the edges of the kelp and just watch the fish go absolutely bonkers. And it doesn't matter if the water is 55 degrees or 70 degrees. Those bass, barracuda, and the bonita that live in the kelp, they're coming out to eat those anchovies. But where you're all going to get frustrated is if you're just going out there with the same rod and reel you used fishing with sardines, and you didn't tone it down, and you didn't bring it down, and you didn't start lighter lines, smaller hooks, all that stuff. If you didn't do that, then you're going to be very, very hungry, because you're not going to have any fish to eat. Let's be honest. Yeah, Rich, I was kind of talking about that line thing, so hopefully I covered that for you. 15 or 20-pound. Now, if the fish start biting wide open, you can go a little bit heavier. But the problem with, as you get to heavier line, is the anchovy's not as hardy, if you will, as an 8-inch sardine. He can't swim around 40-pound. He can swim around 15 or 20 really good. but he can't swim around 40 pounds. So you need to understand that. You're going to have to loosen your drag a tiny bit, or you're going to have to really know how to get the fish out of the kelp or through the rocks or wherever you're fishing at. There's going to be a lot more finesse now with the anchovy. The whole thing is totally different. Now, where I'm an advantage, and a lot of guys my age are an advantage, is because that's all we had for bait. There were no sardines in the 70s when I grew up on the sport boats. We had none. There wasn't any. I remember, I think it was 78 or 79, I was on the bait tank chumming. We were fishing the barn kelp, and Doug Harmon was running the boat and on the Clemente, and I was on the bait tank, and I was looking in the bait tank, and I kept seeing this one fish swimming around with all the anchovies, and he had little dots on his back. And I finally was able to catch him. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I'd never seen one before. And I took it up to the wheelhouse, and I took it up to Doug, and I'm all, Doug, what is this? Is this a domino fish? Because remember, it had little dots on his back. So I remember it like it was today. And he goes, no, that's a Monterey sardine. They are extinct. I was like, really? Extinct like the mackerel? Because I was fishing with Doug Harmon in 74, 73 as just a little kid. And there were no greenback mackerel. I know it's hard for you to imagine this, but there was no greenback mackerel. And they told me that all the greenback mackerel were fished to extinction. You guys wouldn't believe that today forever. And we were on the sand bass grounds. They call it the clam beds, just above the barn kelp, out there 12 to 15 fathoms of water. And the greenback mackerel showed up. Like you can't even comprehend. And I thought they were the coolest fish in the world as a little kid. I thought, these are tiger fish. They look like tigers to me with all the little squiggly lines on their backs. And I was like, these are tiger fish. And Doug, at that time, because Doug worked for my father for a very long time, he told me those are the greenback mackerel that have been extinct forever. We commercial fished them to extinction. What? The same thing he told me with the sardines. And then 2 years later, you couldn't go to a bait barge that didn't have sardines in them. It's just the cycles of the ocean. And yes, John, love you, man. Happy New Year. Don, Stanley, Happy New Year. Dean, Happy New Year. Rich, every single one of you on here, Happy New Year. There's so many people watching right now. I can't tell all of you Happy New Year by name, but I do appreciate all of you. But the ocean fixes itself. The one problem we have today is no one can wait 5 minutes for something to change. And right now we're in a cold water cycle where everything's changing super fast right now. Everything's changing very, very fast because we got cold water from the surface to the bottom, which is good for our calico bass, our sand bass, our rockfish, our yellowtail, our white sea bass, our barracuda, our bonita. They like cold water, gang. They don't like it when it gets up above 65, 67. Once it gets above 67, they all kind of get all weirded out, and it's not going to be good. This is going to be a cold water year. I don't think we'll see anything in the 70s, maybe in August or September, but it's going to be time to learn how to fish for the fish that live in Southern California. It's time to learn how to fish with the anchovy. It's going to change what you catch. I was looking at the fish reports for yesterday, and one of the San Diego half-day boats had 57 legal sand bass yesterday. You know why? They had anchovies for bait. I've been telling everybody for months and months and months, we can't catch the sand bass that live in Southern California with 8-inch sardines. It's just not going to happen, gang. Sport boat went out there with a bait tank full of anchovies, and lo and behold, the extinct sand bass aren't extinct, and they started biting. But I believe that we're not going to be allowed to fish for those sand bass in the summertime. But you know what's really cool? We got Wayne Coda coming on the show tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow, hopefully, Kelly Girl's going to join us. We're hoping, if everything goes right, the great Kelly Girl will join us. Say Happy New Year to everybody. Have some words of wisdom for all of us. And then the next day, Friday, we're going to bring Wayne Coda on the show. Wayne, today is his very first day of his retirement from ccacalifornia.org. Wayne's been the director over there ever since CCA started in California. Wayne's been the man. Wayne's done so much for all of us that on Friday, it's going to give us an opportunity for all of us to thank Wayne. We're all going to get a chance to thank Wayne for everything he's done for us, all the great things he's done. Marty, why are you eating that? All the great things he's done, and I'm super excited to bring that man on the show. I love Wayne. He's been a mentor of mine for a while. He's kind of slowed me down, taught me how to talk and not get so emotionally wrapped up in all these closures, kind of teaching me how to talk to the people that are raising all this havoc out here and telling us there aren't any fish left, which is the furthest thing from the truth. That's why I want you to keep an eye out on what we talk about on Saturdays when we do the 9 a.m. fish report. We talk about what everybody's caught during the week. I always need you guys to call in on that show on Friday mornings, or excuse me, on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. It helps us all out tremendously, and we're going to keep an eye on this sand bass thing because now you guys, tomorrow's game plans, we're going to be talking how to fish with the anchovy and where to go. And if you take these anchovies and go to the artificial reef system that we talk about so much, you are going to be rewarded tremendously with an epic amount of fish. And you know what? Halibut absolutely love anchovies. And all of you that are sitting there going, oh, I only like to fish big bait. I only like to fish big bait. That's because you don't know how to cast. So I'm sorry for ripping your covers off. You don't know how to cast. And then the next thing is, you don't understand. Elephants eat peanuts. Okay? Anchovies are like peanuts. Anchovies are like the very best fish to fish with, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to fish with live bait, because they get more bites than anything. I'm trying to read the comments while I'm talking. That's why I got tongue-tied there for a minute. Yeah, well, Wayne can't do everything every day. The guy, if you broke down what we were paying him to go out there every day and fish, go out there every day and fight for our fishery, he was making probably negative $20 an hour. It was costing him a fortune to drive around, and time away from his grandkids, time away from his wife, time away from everything. He went way beyond the call of duty for all of us for a very long time, but now it's time for him to move on. Yeah, Matt, that's my favorite thing to fish with. Oh my gosh, I know, I can't help it. I was reading comments at the same time I said a bad word. But the sand bass thing is going to be affected, but you guys need to get out there and start catching them and start reporting and showing people that they do live here, because sand bass are a migratory fish that migrate into our waters from Mexico. And my dad can talk about the good old days when he was still around, how they didn't even know what a sand bass was when they started catching them in 57. He's like, yeah, we didn't even know what the hell they were. And now we're catching them and they're everywhere. It's pretty amazing, gang. The ocean will fix itself if we let it. It's just nobody's got any time to let anything naturally occur. Just like the global warming thing. Are you kidding me? I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Grand Canyon, but there was a time where that was full of water. I always like to use that. Or the Baja Peninsula used to be underwater, because I can stop on the side of the road and go pee, take a piss, and I can see seashells on the side of the road on the Baja Peninsula. So that tells me it used to be underwater. So I think we all just need to take a deep breath and let things happen as they happen. I think this year is going to be I think we're going to get rid of a lot of horrible regulations, Hopefully the same thing happens along the Southern California coast, because a lot of these regulations, gang, were put in by the feds, not by the California government, but a lot of this stuff's federal. So I think we got somebody in there now that's going to start to change some of these horrible regulations. Maybe there'll be a chance for us to reverse some of these horrible regulations. We can all only hope. No, Andrew, Marley can't come. It's not legal to have Marley in Southern California. He's what should we say? Illegal to bring into California. But then wait a minute. I might be able to get a cell phone for him and he might get free health. What am I thinking? I need to bring Marley up there. You're absolutely right. For all the free stuff we're giving to the illegal aliens. Marley, you might be coming to California with me, buddy. Would that be cool? Would you like that? Would you like to come to California? He said, no way, dude. I'm staying right here in Mexico. No way. No, Marley ain't coming. But it would have been cool to get all the free stuff we're giving away in California. Darn. And I heard that Gavin's Trump-proof in California. What does that mean? Ooh, I'd hate to think what that means. But, gang, back to what we were talking about. Tim Ogilvy, it's a cycle. So we're into a cold water anchovy cycle, I believe in my heart. Another thing you're going to want to do is get some sabiki rods and get a handful of sabiki. So when you need to go catch your bait, you can start getting some mackerel in your bait tank for the days where you see bigger fish swimming around the edges of the kelp. When you're fishing La Jolla or Point Loma or San Clemente Island, Catalina, or up or down the coast, and you got a bunch of anchovies for chum, and you got yellows boiling around behind the boat, and you fly line out a mackerel, whew, you're in there. But you need a sabiki rod or something to catch the mackerel. Like Roy and I were talking yesterday. Back in the day, you had to catch bigger bait if you wanted to use bigger bait. I think we're going to be in that cycle here again. And I think San Diego is very dependent on that sardine for the long-range boats. So you're probably not going to see a lot of the sardines in the cash sales, and that's what I call the private boat part of the bait barge. They're going to be saving that sardine for the long-range boats, as they should. But it's going to be really, really important for you guys to learn how to fish with the anchovy. It's going to be super important for you to learn how to cast the anchovy. That's why I showed that video of that spinning reel today, because it's going to be so important to learn how to fish the anchovy and the delicacy of the anchovies and all the different things. And so we got to figure this thing out as far as anchovy fishing. So let me know if any of you have any more questions. You can throw them up on the side. But yeah, 15 or 20 pound line. That's what you're going to be looking for. Number 4 and number 2 hooks. And if you think those hooks are too small to hook a fish on, they're not. We used to fish the bluefin at San Clemente Island back in the 70s. And we used 12-pound monofilament line on a Squidder Junior and a number 8. Now, if you pull a number 8 hook out and put it in your hand, you're going to go, there's no way you could hook a fish on. We were catching those 20 to 30-pound bluefin at San Clemente Island on those number 8 hooks with 12-pound monofilament line back in the day. So, yes, you can hook plenty of fish with number 4 hooks and number 2 hooks. But a lot of you don't even have those in your tackle box. And last week, and Matt, you liked that hook show. I know that. When we were talking about the hooks, gang, I said it's going to be important from now on to have number 6, number 2, number 4, maybe a number 1 if they have bigger anchovies. And then, you know, your 2/0s and your 4/0s for the sardines or the mackerel. And hey, I'm only speculating. This whole thing could be a sardine year again. There's so much sardine out there. But the amount of anchovies now that have come into the beach is great because we've all been seeing this anchovy offshore where the bluefin have been foaming on it for 10 years. That's all anchovies. But now that anchovy's back in here on the beach. So I'm super excited that it's all back in here on the beach. And I'm super excited that you guys are going to get to see an anchovy fishery. I really am, because the videos are going to be incredible when you're showing me the fish jumping all over in the edge of the kelp or on the edge of the hard bottom. Take it over to Catalina. Those of you that fish Catalina all the time, and any of the spots on the hot spots videos, you take those anchovies over there and you have any type of condition at all, you're going to be blown away by the volume of fish that you all haven't seen because of the fact that you've been chumming with 8-inch sardines. It's hard to get any type of perspective of what is out there when you're trying to force feed them this big giant bait. But what I like to call the anchovies, it's like throwing rice out there. You're just sprinkling this stuff all over the edges of the hard bottom or the kelp, and boom, everything changes and everything starts to happen. And it's just absolutely crazy how productive anchovies are for fishing. But it's time to practice casting. And I repeat myself a ton. And that's because I've been teaching people how to fish for so long. And I can stand right next to you and say the same thing 5 times before you do it while you're standing there. And I don't know why. I don't know what that is, but that's why I repeat myself so much. I've been teaching people how to fish for 50 years. And I've learned that you got to hear it 3 times before it clicks into your brain. I don't know why that is, but I'm the same way. That's why I can't golf. I can barely fly fish, and I can have the fly fishing guru standing right next to me, and I keep doing the same dumb things over and over again. So a lot of you go, oh, you repeat yourself a lot, Dave. Yeah, it's just part of the deal. Taking people fishing for a living for so long, it's part of the deal. But if you guys have any more questions about this anchovy thing, go ahead and throw them up here and let me know what you think. Matt, I don't know what the new regulations are. Remember, I was trying to stay down low on what was going on because I was on such a restriction over there on Facebook. But now all the restrictions have been taken off. Now, Elliot says you can't leave stars. Any of you that have stars in your wallet, can you go on Facebook and see if you can send me a star? Because Kelly sent 175 of them right before we went live. Look at this. That was at 11:55. Does anybody that's watching the show right now, has anybody got stars in their wallet you've been hanging on to? Can you send me stars? Is it available? Because Elliot's just telling me it's not. And I don't know. I need somebody out there. I wish Mike was on here. Mike, I know Mike has a phenomenal amount of stars left in his account. You wanted anybody? Hello? Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me at all? Hello, hello, hello. Can't find the show on Facebook. Huh. That's weird because there's like 100 people watching on Facebook right now. Can't find stars. Go to the comments, Darren. See where Kelly did it? Right here on the screen. That star logo doesn't come up. Yes. Yes, you see stars. No, you don't see stars. You can't hear me. It's you. Okay, I don't know. All right. Well, it worked for 10 minutes this morning. That was very exciting. Sucks that they took it down that fast. Oh, well, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. But yeah, we're in a anchovy cycle, a cold water cycle, but I don't really know the exact regulations that change. I think, Matt, that the changes are going to go into effect on April 1st, like they did last year. Any new changes, they're going to go into effect Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. Kelly girl, we got to send stars for 1 minute today. Very strange. But I think they're going to tell us what the new regulations are on April 1st. They'll probably do what they did last year. It'll be a moving target. They're going to shift it around. But you know who's going to be able to tell us for sure, Matt? Is Wayne. Even though Wayne's retired today, is his official date, first day of retirement, guarantee you he knows what the hell's going on. And he's not done by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to retire just like my dad did. My dad was super active, even though he retired 10 years before he passed away. He was so active in the political part of fishing, all right, to the very last day. He sat on a bunch of different boards. He listened to every meeting. He was involved with every Zoom meeting. And I believe Wayne will be doing the same thing. He can't let go. He loves fishing as much as you and me and my dad. So Wayne will still be involved, and he'll tell us all about it on Friday when he's with me on the show. It's going to be a great show on Friday to have Wayne Coda on here. And it's going to give all of you an opportunity to thank Wayne. You could throw your comments up on the side, and I'll throw them up on the screen like this. And you can see your comments, and Wayne will be able to see your comments, and it'll be spectacular. Yeah, the weather today is absolutely incredible. I was watching the Rose Parade this morning. My goodness, there's no clouds in the sky. It's pretty beautiful out there in Southern California today. They're saying it's going to be 79 degrees in Riverside today. It's January 1st. That's crazy. But the really cool thing about what's happening, gang, is that swell is going away. And if Bill Barney could be with us today, he'd be telling you, we got today and tomorrow, and then the swell starts to dissipate quickly on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and that water is going to settle back down. We don't have any storms coming. I don't see anything on the horizon. So I think we're going to have some fun fishing with this anchovy, especially this weekend. Something I want you to watch, and Justin's watching the show right now. Justin will be live tomorrow with his buddy Paul. They'll be out there, and they'll have a tank of anchovies. Unless something strange happens and they all run out of anchovies tonight. He should have some anchovies in his bait tank. Take those over to Catalina. We could be in for a hell of a show tomorrow. It could be really spectacular. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I think it's going to be amazing to see the anchovies. And Justin will be showing you how to fish with the anchovies on the live show tomorrow. It's going to be amazing, gang. And Okuma has so many different spinning reels. There's no reason for you guys not to have one on your boat now with this anchovy thing, because the biggest problem you're going to all have is trying to cast these things. Even though you're all telling me you're a great caster, light, you don't understand. An anchovy weighs less than an ounce, and you're pinning that to your string and trying to cast it out there. If you're fishing lures in the surf, or you're fishing in the surf, you're using an ounce or a half ounce or quarter ounce or something in the surf, and your bait, there's a lot of weight on your line. So to fly line anchovy is a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. Hey, Hans Schmelt. It's a whole different animal, gang. You need to learn how to do it. You need to learn how to do it. So get yourself some anchovies this weekend. Weather's going to be nice. And get out there and start practicing fishing with the anchovies, because the way it looks, we're going to have anchovies throughout the winter and hopefully into the summer. I'm hoping. But I know a lot of you out there, you only like those big giant sardines. That's because you don't like fishing. You just like being able to cast. I'm just being sarcastic. There's nobody more sarcastic than me. But understand, gang, that it is a cycle, like Tim Ogilvy was saying. Things are changing. Yeah, that fog is around because the land is super hot today and the water's super cold. That's why you're having all this fog. I don't know if Mike has anchovies or not, Don Stanley. That's a good question. I'll call him up after the show. He'd be the only bait bars right now that doesn't have anchovies. Everybody's reporting anchovies, but we'll see. The bait thing is going to be tough with no boats fishing. It's going to be up to you guys to let me know what they have at the bait barges. My good friend Robert Graper, he's very, very good at always giving me the bait reports. Any of you that have an in or contact with the bait guys, you can always. Oh, Justin's going to text him right now and find out if he has them for you, Don. How cool is this show? So what? It's going to be up to us this winter time. There's not going to be any boats out there fishing except for us that are part of your saltwater guide, because we understand that we don't only fish for bluefin. We like to fish for fish. So I'm going to need all of you to help me this winter time, giving me the reports, putting them on the app, putting them in the community, letting us know what you're catching, what you're seeing, what's going on at the bait barge, where I could call sport boats before and I could talk to those guys. And I had a pretty big coverage. Now, as we enter into the winter, our coverage is going to be our 4,000 members. And it's really going to depend a lot on all of you guys sharing what you're seeing out there. That's what we're trying to do as I build this website, is I'm trying to let you know that it's okay to share information. Yeah, that's how you and I learned, right, Tut? The wooden clothespin. And Tut, there's probably 90% of the people on here that don't even know what the hell a clothespin is. Remember? They don't know that there was a line in your backyard where you clipped your clothes to get them dry. And that's what a clothespin is, gang. It's how you clipped your clothes to the line in the backyard to dry them out. We didn't have a dryer back in those days. Everybody dried their clothes in the backyard on a piece of string, and then you clipped your clothes to it, so when the wind blew, it didn't blow off. Well, that same way that you clipped it on there is what we use to practice casting. Now, Kelly, my wife, has some little plastic ones that would work just perfect. She uses them to hold the blinds open in our bedroom. Those little plastic clothespins, those would work really, really good. They would, to practice casting. You can throw them around. You can see what's happening. I'm trying to see if I have one here right now. I thought I saw one over here. Nope, don't see one. I thought I had one over there, but I don't. Yeah, can you bring me one? All right, there's my secretary. Whoa, I don't know where it went. I know you are, and everybody was hoping you'd come on here not dressed. All right, she heaved it over here. I got it. I found it. Woohoo! This is a live show. This is a clothespin. They used to make them out of wood. That's what we're talking about. No chovies in San Pedro, only cured sardines. So that's a clothespin, gang. Tie your line to that. Go out in the backyard or down to the football field or baseball field and practice casting this. This weighs what an anchovy weighs. This little clothespin, what's it? 2 inches long, 1.5 inches long. This is what you just tie your line to this and go out in the backyard or go on the back of your boat or something and learn how to cast this. If you can cast this, then you can cast an anchovy. The thing is, just throwing it out there, that's casting. Now, can you put it in the spot? That's what separates the men from the boys or the ladies from the girls, is you have to be able to place this on the edge of the kelp or over where the fish are boiling or on the edge of the rock. So not only throwing it out there, but actually being able to place the bait in the direct spot that you want it to go to. Go get some of these plastic clothespins and practice, practice, practice. The day you get to go fishing is not the day you want to practice. Those of you that just want to get a bunch of bites tomorrow and you're not really interested in catching any fish, go get those big sardines at Mike's, and then you can go out there and get a bunch of bites. And then those of you, does Nacho have anchovies? Do you know? Or what are we even thinking that Nacho would answer his phone? I don't know what Nacho has. We'll figure it out. But I think there's going to be a lot of anchovies this year. And that's the show today, gang. Any other questions? Yep, that's a great way to do it, Renee. Renee likes to cast at the bucket in the park. Hell yeah. You can figure, if you can stand on flat grass and cast to a bucket, then when you get on the boat, my gosh, it's going to be so simple, because remember, on the boat, you're raised up off the water. You're not standing on the water. When you're in the park, that's just like standing on the water casting. So when you can get that mastered, standing on the grass, casting to an object, you're going to find out that when you, so Nacho has anchovies. There you go, gang. Woohoo. So Justin will be fishing with anchovies tomorrow. It'll be super exciting. He's got, I know you got a couple of those ABF reels I left on the boat from the War Heroes trip, Justin. It'll be fun to see those things in full effect tomorrow. And the swell's supposed to be down, and it could just be an absolute epic day. The weather's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. Justin's going live. What time do you think you'll be leaving the harbor? What time do you think you'll be at Catalina? So everybody can kind of put it on their schedule, what time they can start watching Justin slaying fish at Catalina. We're super excited about it. He'll jump in here in a second and let us know. And gang, got any more questions? Happy New Year. Have a great fishery year, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully I answered anybody's questions. Yeah, you know what, though? The frozen anchovies you get in the bags are really hard to fish with, because when they thaw out, they're like mush. That's why when you go, Jason, when you go fishing with Darren or Pablo or Justin or Al or somebody, see if you can get some of those anchovies, put them in a bag, throw some salt in there, and then let them set in a little salt brine, and that'll make them like leather. It makes them so easy to hook. There's going to be new rockfish regulations. I'll just about guarantee it, Renee. I heard rumors. I just heard rumors about this and about that. So you should be at the island between 8 and 9 tomorrow. Justin should, going live between 8 and 9. So there you go. Thank you, Justin. But I think you need to salt those anchovies, Jason. And then Renee, I heard rumor that they were going to take the vermilions to one, the reds, the ones we go fishing for. I don't know that for a fact, but they took it from 15 to 5 to 2 in light speed. So one is, I wouldn't doubt that they would do that to us, but we'll all find out with Wayne on Friday's show. I'm going to have a ton of questions for him, you know that. And then you guys can all jump in and thank him for everything he's done for us and ask him any questions. I always throw them up on the screen. And there's Justin letting everybody know he's going to go live between 8 and 9. Remember, if you didn't get in on Justin's guide service or Al's or Pablo's, you didn't get our clothes for the 15% off, everything's back to normal prices now, gang. I don't understand. I'm happy that you waited to buy it at the regular price. Thank you all very, very much. You know me, I'm the most sarcastic human on the planet. But a lot of you took advantage of it is what I'm trying to say. And thank you all very, very much. Thanks for helping it, Captain Al and Captain Justin and Captain Pablo, because when you do book those guys, you are out actually helping families that you all know. You see all these guys and their families and their grandkids and everybody out on their boats. So you're helping real people, real friends, real families. And we do appreciate everything you all do for us. Gang, I will be live tomorrow. Hopefully the Miss Kelly will join us. It all depends on what happens the rest of the day, how I act. If I'm a good boy the rest of the day, you'll all see Kelly on the show tomorrow. If she's not here, you know I made a boo-boo. But gang, I hope you got something out of this anchovy thing today. I hope it was interesting. I hope you learned something. I want to thank you all for checking out to see if you can leave stars. I was so excited when we went live. I'm so bummed that it's not available. It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, a lot of us wished Pablo a happy birthday. Thank you all very much for watching the show today. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for following us over there on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Megaphone. I thank everybody. And I don't know about you guys. I know there's some other podcasts that have a commercial like every 4 or 5 minutes. I don't know. I think you can appreciate this one a little better. It's not commercially driven, even though I read, oh, Dave, you talk about your website all the time on the show. Yeah, because I want you to catch fish. It's not a commercial. It is the honest to God fact. And if you've never seen our website or if you've never used it, you would be blown away at how many people are members that don't even watch a video. It's pretty blows my mind. I guess it's like when you buy one of those stair steppers and you shove it under your bed and thought you were going to firm up your butt or lose your belly, but it doesn't happen that way. You don't get to buy the thing and the weight falls off, just like you don't get to purchase my website and then not watch any videos and think you're going to be able to catch fish.